Well, the newest Star Wars television show has dropped. The first two episodes of Skeleton Crew came out today, and I was a little hesitant. The trailers, they weren't doing it for me. There were things about it that just didn't feel Star Wars. I was worried, and come on, let's face it. After the atrocity that was the Acolyte, who could blame me? Who could blame anybody for wanting to go into this show hesitantly? And I think the thing that was really saving me, or not saving, but encouraging me to go into this, were a couple things. One, the promise of it feeling like an Amblin type of project, something that feels more aching back to the 80s and Spielberg-esque. That, as well as being set within more so of the Mando universe. That was the discussion years ago when they first announced this, that it was supposed to be set within the Mando universe. The little section of the Mando universe that's, post Return of the Jedi, that whole thing. So those two aspects are kind of what we're like, okay, I guess I can see it. I guess I can get behind this and give it a shot. So the first two episodes dropped today. And sure, let's dive in. Let's check out what Skeleton Crew is all about. Now it starts out pretty Star Wars, if you really want to talk about it. I mean, it starts off with words on the screen, not your crawl, but words on the screen, just really explaining what pirates are all about in Star Wars. And I kind of like that, to really give you a feel of what pirates are not nice people in Star Wars. And that's a cool way to go about it. Now, there's no denying that this is a show for kids, and we'll get into that as we get a little further into this. This show is 100% for kids. But the beginning of this show really highlights that, look, this is going to be a swashbuckling adventure that showcases pirates taking over another ship, going into it looking for, essentially, treasure. That's interesting. That's cool. This is a side of Star Wars, specifically in live action, that we've never seen before. And I was kind of like, okay, this is interesting. This is cool. And, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've watched enough media. I've watched enough, whether it's television or movies or what have you. We saw this, and I knew the very next scene was going to be of the main character. And I could almost see exactly what it was going to be. And sure enough, the next scene after this was our main character. But before we get into that, this here was the captain of the pirates. And he's taking the pirates to find treasure, to find gold, to find Republic credits. And he takes them, and they lose some of their pirates. Good pirates have died. But because where they go, they don't find any credits. The gold is not there. So the pirates turn on their captain. And that is kind of where they leave that story before they go to the main character. Now, the rest of that episode, the rest of episode 1, is all about our main character. And we kind of go on this adventure with him in a way of just seeing his everyday life, him with his best friend, as we see him there on the bus heading to school. Now, like I said, it kind of starts off, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the idea and the aspect of seeing his life. I guess in a way you see his awe, his wanting more, his basically the hero's journey. You see the little twinkle in his eye of there has to be more for me out there than just what I've been doing here. Now, granted, he has to be, 9-10 years old? I don't think they really ever give an age for him here, but he's very young. And it takes me back a bit to when I was a little kid, when I first saw Star Wars and just, imagining, could I be a Jedi? And him and his friend, they talk about that. They act like they're playing with lightsabers, invisible lightsabers, and they're having fun. Again, it's that little charm of just kids. And I tell you what, the kids did phenomenal in this show. They did exactly what they needed to do. They played the characters very well. They were kid actors. You can't ask for more than that, than what they gave. They did a phenomenal job, at least in these first 2 episodes. But again, you see this sense of wonder with the main character, and he goes off and he sees two other characters. Oh, sorry. I guess I can continue. I really don't know what I'm doing here, do I? But him and his friend here, they're talking. They go to school. Again, he goes to school. He wonders if there's more to it than that. The teacher even is like asking questions. What do you see yourself doing? And the main character, what is his name? Fen. He's like, I want to be a hero in a sense. Like, I want to save people. Again, he wants to be like a Jedi. Like, that is his thing. He loves Jedi. Even like when we're introduced to him, he's playing with little action figures, little Jedi action figures. Like, that's what he wants to do. Now, he sees these two characters at one point on the way to school, and he sees them on this little speeder bike type of thing, and they speed off, and he was in awe of them. Wow, that's crazy. And he's just, you could tell that he's got this routine down with his father where he's just like, okay, I wake up, I go to school, I come home, my dad's a busy dad, he's always working, I do this, I'm smart, I gotta take my test, go to school, do this. And he just doesn't want to just do that all the time. Like, he wants to do more. He wants to have fun. He wants to be not an outcast, but what's the word I'm looking for? He wants to go out and be a little rebellious. That's the word I'm looking for. A little rebellious at times. But he's just never found a chance to do it. And he sees these two girls who are a little rebellious. Well, the next day, he has to run to school or get to school for a test, and he wakes up a little late and misses the bus. So he gets on his bike and he tries to take a shortcut that he saw these two girls take the day before. But upon trying to take that shortcut to get to school, he wrecks his bike. He falls into a little ditch, and he finds a little thing that he thinks is a Jedi temple because he's so enamored with the idea of Jedi. Well, he finds his way getting back to school. He gets in trouble, blah, 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 because he was late to school. It's his whole thing. But the girl here, the one who's driving the bike, happens to overhear him talking about that he found this Jedi temple. Now, her bike is kind of like dying. I guess she needs a new capacitor for it. And she has a race coming up this weekend with some guy that oddly looks like Kylo Ren. And with a young guy that looks like Kylo Ren. But she needs to get a new capacitor for it. So she wants to go look into this, what I guess she believed him as some kind of temple of some sort, thinking that there could be something there. But Fen takes his best friend to go down there, being a little rebellious. Instead of staying home studying for the test that he can retake the next day, goes to find the temple. So there they go. They're off to find the temple, going to do what they shouldn't be doing, being a little rebellious. But this is what he's always wanted to do. He's wanted to be a little rebellious. And again, it's just a sweet little story. And I tell you, I enjoyed it. I thought this was a good little story. When they get there, the two girls were already there. They were already digging and looking for the temple, or for the entrance to the temple, I should say. And obviously the girls, specifically the older girl, I guess, or the blonde, she acts like she's, tough shit, big shit, and, really picks on the boys a little bit. And again, there are shots here, specifically this shot here, I really felt like it's like straight out of a Spielberg movie from the 80s and the 90s. There was one shot where I felt like it was from E.T. or something like that. Like, it was what John Watts did. He was the director of the first episode. I tell you what, he did a fantastic job. Like, if he was trying to honor Steven Spielberg, he did a fantastic job in doing so. This first episode, if they ended it here with a cliffhanger of what happens, I'd be completely content and be like, that was a great short story. It was a fantastic short story. It could end there. I'm happy. But it continues. They end up opening up this doorway, and they make their way in, and they discover that it's actually a ship. Now, during this time, Fen's father gets home, finds out that he's not there, goes looking for him, and he sees the ship flying away, sees Fen fly away. When they get in the ship, they end up discovering that it's a ship, and they accidentally, just because they're kids, turn on the ship, it flies away, and they get into space, and they try to stop it, but it ends up shooting into hyperspace. End of episode 1. Again, there's a lot more story to it than that. I don't want to recap the entire thing, but it was a fun story. And episode 1 was definitely better in that regard. It filled you a lot more with story than episode 2. Episode 2 kind of gave you a setup for what's to come, whereas episode 1 is more along the lines of, here are the characters, here's who they are, this is why they are. And again, like I said, I think if episode 1 was just like, hey, this is a fun little story that takes place in the Star Wars universe, it's cool. Now, some of my issues that I had even when I saw the trailer was the world that this takes place on does not feel Star Wars. It does not. And it kind of pulled me out of the show a little bit. It feels very earthly. It has light poles. It has curbs. It has roads. It has garages. It has suburbs. Like, it feels like it's planet Earth with slightly high-tech things. It feels very odd to be sitting there in the Star Wars universe. However, the more I was watching and the more I thought about it, I was kind of thinking, like, I think this is intentional. I think it was an intentional choice. I don't like it. I still don't like it, but I do think it was intentional that they did it this way to kind of give the viewers some comfort, to make them feel comfortable, like, yes, I can relate to these characters. So when they go off on this swashbuckling adventure that's about to come, then when they feel uncomfortable, we can feel uncomfortable with them. And I think that was the idea behind it. Again, I don't like how they did it because I want Star Wars in all aspects to feel like Star Wars. But I think with some little bits that they've been adding within the story, I think that they are going to give us story reasons even why the planet is like that. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it'll turn around and I will like it. Maybe I won't. But as of right now, I don't. Now, episode 2 starts, and now I didn't mention that they do meet a droid on this ship. That was one of the reasons why they turned on this ship and everything. SM-33 or Shmi. Honestly, Shmi is, a pretty common pirate name, I guess. Was it Captain Hook had a Shmi and what have you? So everybody kind of has enjoyed that name for the droid. He was the only being left on the ship, and he was upset that he couldn't find his captain, and the girl there in the center, I can't remember their names. I'm terrible with remembering names. I should have wrote it down. She said that she killed the captain, and now she's the captain. So he believes that she's the captain and will protect her by any means. But they're trying to get home because they went into hyperspace. And when they went into hyperspace, they don't know where they went. So they ask the droid, get us home. We want to go home. And when they say where their home is, the droid has no idea how to get back. They don't know how to get back home. So they are lost in space. So instead of getting back home, they say, well, take us to the nearest spaceport. Take us to a spaceport so we can ask for directions to get home. And that's kind of where it leads to. He takes them to a spaceport. Now, at first, it looks just like a spaceport. But when you get in there, when they get in there, they start to realize this isn't just any spaceport. You eventually discover that this is a pirate bay. This is a pirate's spaceport. This is where pirates go. And kids should not be there. And it gets even crazier when a couple of the kids go to get some food. And Fen, he decides to pay with one of the credits that his dad gave him for lunch. And they're kind of shocked on where he got credits that look like that and are like that because they haven't seen them or have ever seen those in forever. And they start to ask questions. Where did you get that? How did you get that? Oh, man. And they're worth way more than you would think. So then things start to happen. Well, because of that, some of the pirates start to confront the kids, and Shmi has to come out and save them. So Shmi comes out to save the kids from the pirates, and they start to run back to the ship. As they run back to the ship, the pirates, from the very beginning of the show, from the first episode in the beginning, show up and corner them and decide to capture them. Now, the wolf-looking one in the front is the one who has now taken over those pirates. He's the one that kind of put the original captain, and he's taken over that. So that was basically the end of episode 2. Wasn't it? No, there was another picture. Where's it at? Oh, that's it. I have my things crossed there. So while the kids gets captured there in the brig, or in a prison, in a jail, and they're trying to figure out how to get out. And as they're talking about, oh, we just need to get home, and Fenn's like, oh, I'll just pay him off. He goes to pull out the gold, and he goes to pay him off. But then this character walks out from the shadows, and he goes, I can get you out of here, but just promise me you'll take me with you. And they're like, well, how can we get out of here? We can't get the key to get out. The key's too far away. And he's like, oh, distance is just a figment of your imagination, or something like that. And he uses the Force to pull the key to him. And they go, oh, you're a Jedi. And cut to black. And we go to Skeleton Crew. So that was episode 2. Again, not as much story, but it was more of a setup of like, okay, so we got the pirates. We know the pirates are going to be chasing the kids because they have this gold that they want to get. And my guess is the Jedi there, the speculation is he was the captain at the beginning of the series that got put into the, got cast out of the pirate crew. So they're probably going to be chasing the kids and him. And they're going to be trying to find their way back and blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. Again, it was a fun show. It was. The first 2 episodes, I give them a lot of credit. It was a lot of fun. Now, there's rumors that Disney and Lucasfilm has to push their message in episode 3. If that's true, it's ridiculous. I don't know why they have to do that, why they constantly have to keep pushing a message in all these shows. If that's what they're doing, look, I don't know what else to say. Like, enough is enough. But I will continue to review the show on its merits, and if they keep pushing a good story and fun little swashbuckling adventure like this, then yeah, I think it's a good, fun story. But I tell you what, I gotta say, 2 episodes in, I'm not disappointed. I'm not. Again, it's a good, fun little show for kids. I think they can enjoy it. Is it perfect? No. Is it the grand Star Wars adventure we all want? No. 2 episodes in, it's not. But let's see where it goes over the next few episodes, over the course of this entire season. Let's see where it goes. But have you watched Skeleton Crew? Are you going to watch Skeleton Crew? I want to know what you guys think. Like, did you like it? Do you like it? Are you going to keep watching it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. With all that said, I'll catch you all later.